bookworms! Today I'm going to be doing a video all about my favorite holiday book recommendations. So as you know, I am one of the hosts of the 'Tis the Season-a-thon. I'm hosting it along with Heather from Bookables, Chelsea from Chelsea Darling Reads, Trina from Between Chapters, and my lighting's changing because the sun's going behind a cloud, and Amy from A Court of Crowns and Quills. I thought that it would be fun to make a video of some holiday book recommendations of some of my favorites that I've read in the past because I've read a lot of holiday books. These are some options in case you're having trouble picking out what to add to your TBR. So my first recommendation is The Afterlife of Holly Chase by Cynthia Hand. This is a book that I read last year in the days leading up to Christmas, like right before Christmas. I'm pretty sure I finished this on like December 23rd, and I just loved it so much. It follows a girl named Holly, and she works at this organization in New York City. She's actually passed away, so her company is like a very strange company, and they put on a Christmas Carol type event every December. They pick a person who's not like living their best life and try to show them the ways that life can be better and a way for them to change and to realize that they can be a better person, the way that Scrooge learns in A Christmas Carol. Holly is on this team where she works to set up this elaborate plan, and this time around she ends up getting kind of close to their subject, which she really isn't supposed to do. It's really adorable, and she finds herself really liking this guy, and Holly herself is like not the greatest person. She didn't end up in the afterlife yet because she is younger, and they felt like she had the opportunity to be a little bit different, but she was like a total brat when she was living. But I really enjoyed this one. It was so much better than I was expecting it to be, and this is a holiday book that I definitely recommend reading. It is #1 on my list for a reason. The next two books on my list are classics, and they are Dash and Lily's Book of Dares and The 12 Days of Dash and Lily. Both of these have a really special place in my heart because they take place in New York City, and they follow Dash and Lily, who end up meeting each other by finding something within a book in the Strand bookstore. And the Strand bookstore is where Andrew proposed to me. It is my favorite bookstore in the entire world, so it just holds such a special place in my heart. And even before I met Andrew, I read this first book and I just loved it so much. I thought that it was such a fun Christmas in New York story. If you've never been to Christmas in New York, you should try to plan a trip here if you can, because it's just such a wonderful time in the city. There's so many things to see, so many things to do, and I really enjoyed the little scavenger hunt that they had set up, and I just thought the romance was so cute. And then I was really thankful when they came back with the sequel, which is The 12 Days of Dash and Lily. I didn't love this one as much as I loved the first one, but I have been wanting to go back and reread these because it's been a while since I've read the first one at least, and I just really love them. The next book on my list is Xmas by Kate Bryan. This is such a fun holiday read. It is super short. I myself am a very slow reader, and I have to say that I read this book in like, I think it was like an hour. Like, it was that quick for me. So it follows a girl named Lila, and her parents have just left for vacation, and she's planning on having like a giant holiday bash at her house without her parents knowing, but she's also responsible for watching her younger brother Cooper. And Cooper is obsessed with Christmas, and he gets really concerned because he just learned about global warming, and he finds out that the polar ice caps are melting. So him and his best friend Tyler run away and go on a mission to save Santa. So Lila and Tyler's older brother Bo end up teaming up together to try to get their siblings safely back before Lila's parents get home, and she gets in a whole lot of trouble. Bo is actually Lila's ex-boyfriend, so the two of them are also going to have to try to work out their differences or kind of set them aside in order to save their siblings. And it's just a really cute holiday romance. Next on my list is another classic, and that is My True Love Gave to Me, which is edited by Stephanie Perkins, and it has stories in it from a whole bunch of authors. I was recently looking this up online because I read this the year that it came out, so it's been a while since I have like indulged in it. Aren't these pages so pretty? And Holly Black actually wrote a story in here, and I'm curious. I want to go back and reread that because I haven't read it in so long, and I truly thought that The Cruel Prince was the first Holly Black book that I ever read, but little did I know I had actually read one of her short stories, and I can't really remember it. I know it had to do with Krampus, so I'm interested to see how I'll like it. My favorite one in here was definitely the Rainbow Royale story. I thought that one was super adorable. That one took place more toward New Year's Eve. But I also really love Stephanie Perkins' story, and then there's also a story from Laini Taylor, Gail Forman, David Levithan, Jenny Han. I loved that one, of course. Kelly Link, Kirsten White, who again, I didn't think that I had ever read anything by her, but apparently I read her short story. Yeah, I think I might actually go back and reread some of these during this event, but this is a really good anthology to check out. Number 6 on my list, I can't find my copy of for some reason, but it is Let It Snow by Maureen Johnson, John Green, and Lauren Miracle. And this was one of my favorite holiday reads. I believe I actually read this one on Christmas Day in one sitting a couple of years back. So there's 3 holiday romances that take place. Each story is written by one of the authors that I previously mentioned, and they all take place on Christmas Eve into Christmas Day. But each story was really cute. I think Maureen Johnson's was actually my favorite of the 3, but there's one person who is at a Waffle House and trying to get home in a snowstorm. There's another person who works at like the equivalent of a Starbucks, and that's kind of the morning after. And yeah, like I said, it's been a while since I read this one as well, so it's another one that I kind of want to go back and reread because I really remember enjoying it very much the first time that I read it, and I'm curious if I would love it as much the second time around. Next on my list is from Leigh Bardugo's Language of Thorns. There is a story within here called The Soldier Prince, and there's like the big illustration for it. This story is actually a Nutcracker retelling, and it was really, really cute. I love Leigh Bardugo's writing, so she can pretty much write anything and I'll love it, but it was really good, and I definitely recommend checking this one out. And again, this is a short story, so this one is a really, really quick read if you're looking for something short just to like help get you in the holiday season. Another book that is on my list that's actually packed away right now with the rest of my Christmas decorations is Letters from Father Christmas by J.R.R. Tolkien. This is actually a collection of letters. So Tolkien wrote letters to his son as if he were Santa, and it's a collection of those letters, and they're just so well written, and as I'm sure you can imagine, because Lord of the Rings is like great. This book is also super amazing, and I think that you guys will really enjoy it, especially if you enjoy Tolkien's writing. It's just beautiful. Then I have 3 classics to recommend. So the first one being obviously A Christmas Carol. This one is such a quick read. I actually had the pleasure of seeing Neil Gaiman read the story entirely by himself at the New York Public Library a couple of years ago. My brother and I went together. It was like this last minute thing, and it was so enjoyable, and I really love this story. It's such a classic, and it's just been reinterpreted so many times by so many different franchises, and it's because it's such a great story. I'm sure you know there's the 3 ghosts, and they're trying to turn Ebenezer Scrooge into a better person. And it, of course, inspired the first book on this list, The Afterlife of Holly Chase. Then I have the classic Nutcracker story by E.T.A. Hoffman. This is the one that the famous ballet is based on. And again, it's just such a great and magical holiday read. I really, really love the Nutcracker. I also saw the Nutcracker in the Four Realms recently, the movie, and I really loved that as well. But I just think it's such a magical story. And then I also have the Snow Queen by Hans Christian Andersen, and this one is just such a good winter tale. It's obviously the Snow Queen, so it takes place with like lots of ice and snow and everything like that, and it really is just so atmospheric and so like will so get you in the mood for that cold weather. I really enjoyed this one when I read it again years ago. And then the last book on this list is the only one that I have not yet read, and that is Hidden Sea by Gregory Maguire. This is actually a Nutcracker inspired story. So like Gregory Maguire wrote Wicked, which was the backstory for Elphaba, which got turned into one of the best musicals ever. But he has also written some other books that follow like different fairy tales. So this one is inspired by the Nutcracker. If you take the cover off, you've got the Nutcracker there. So this book specifically imagines the backstory of the Nutcracker and how he found himself like teaming up with Clara on Christmas Eve. And then it also has kind of a like ominous or evil Drosselmeyer, who is the toy maker. And I'm really looking forward to reading this one. I think I'm actually planning on reading it in December. I just don't know if I would be able to read all the rest of the books on my TBR if I put it for 'Tis the Season-a-thon, which is why it's not in that video, but I am planning on reading this one this year. And it also, I believe, takes place in Germany, which my family is German, so I'm really looking forward to reading this. So those are all of my holiday reading recommendations. I hope that you found something on this list that you can add to your TBR. Let me know if you've read any of them. Let me know if you have any more holiday recommendations. I tend to love like cozy, like little romance type things, but I definitely also love when there is a fantasy or sci-fi element to a holiday book because it just gives it like a fun twist. That is all that I have for this video, and I will see you guys soon in a new one. Bye! Bye!